Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Nasir Soft. This is the final video of the tutorial series that is Simple Laravel project, and in this video we will work into the form data. First we collect the form data to our PHP variables, and then we insert the form data by calling the model in Laravel. Okay, and inside the model we write the MySQL query for insertion the data into the MySQL database sum table. Okay, so first we need to collect the form data that user entered after the form validation applied successfully. Okay, so here through input variable we catch all the uh, user entered form fields to our local PHP variables, and then we call the PHP model to enter that value into our database. First we create the name PHP variable, and inside the name we get the data that comes from the form name field. Okay, as we name it name. Okay, so similarly for the others fields also, that is email, phone and message. Okay, so here you see that to check the debugging purpose, if I echo the name, then it works successfully. Okay, so therefore I copy this line and paste to collect the data that comes from the other fields. Okay, so same for the email, and do the same for others fields, that is phone and message as well. So after collecting the form data, here we catch all these form data in our four PHP variables. Okay, after submission of the form. So now the last step is we create a model, and inside the model we create a function or method. Okay, and inside that method we write the MySQL query. Okay, and through that query we insert these form data to our database. So now we are moving to create the model in Laravel. Okay, so as you know that in MVC architecture, in controller we not write a query. Okay, this is not a good practice. So for database operation we should call the model, and inside the model we create or write the MySQL queries. Okay, so the first step is, now you need to create the database and the database table on which you want to store this form data. This is my MySQL environment. Okay, and in this I create a database that is Nasir Soft, and inside this database I already created a new table that is form data table. Okay, and there are four fields in that one. Okay, that is name, email, phone, message, and we create a new field that is ID, that is auto incremented, and primary key. Okay, so inside the name will store, inside the email will store, and similarly for phone and message. Okay, so the data table creation query is mentioned in video description. You can copy and paste inside your own MySQL environment. Okay, so we are creating the Laravel model. Okay, for insertion purpose. So inside the app, okay, just close the http as well. Inside the app, okay, inside the app folder there are our models in Laravel. Okay, so just create a new PHP file inside the app folder here. Okay, and name it something meaningful, that is form insertion model. Okay, and it is a PHP file. So inside this form insertion model, here our model code are, or by going to this link. Okay, this link is mentioned in video description. You can read more about the Laravel models. Okay, and inside this model paste that code. Okay, the code is mentioned in video description. Okay, so if you read the model documentation, then you can understand well about the how model works. Okay, so I just create a simple model for our simple project. Okay, there are many and more things in Laravel models. Okay, the next video, if you want, then I will explain it to you. Okay, so this model is just for our simple purpose. So the first, after the we include the namespace, that is app. Okay, and this is the, we use the Eloquent model. Okay, and inside the class name, that is form insertion model, same as the model name, and that extends the model class. Okay, and inside this one there are three protected variables. The first, we define a table, we define our primary key inside the table, and then we define the connection. Okay, so as we not creating yet a database connection, so now we are moving to create a database connection. So to create a connection, okay, you need to go to inside. First you close the app, and inside the practice there is a file that is environment dot environment extension. Okay, double click on it, and here you can find more about, okay, that is app name, that is Laravel, and DB connection. It already by default create a DB connection, that is MySQL. Okay, and its host is this one, and so on. So copy these all link and paste here to create a new database connection, and name it something meaningful. For example, I name Nasir. Okay, the database connection is Nasir, and inside the DB host, similarly, okay, not change it. You need okay, what is the DB database? Inside the DB database, okay, here you write your database name. As in my scenario, my database name is Nasir Soft. Okay, so therefore I write here Nasir Soft. As my database name is Nasir Soft, then the DB username, that is root, and password, that is nothing. Okay, so save the file. Inside the connection, your connection name, that is Nasir in my scenario. Okay, the table name, if I go to the database, the table name is form underscore data underscore table. So therefore I write here form underscore data underscore table. Okay, and the primary key is ID. Okay, save the file. Now to insert this field, that is name, email, phone, message, we call here that model to insert the field in the database. Okay, so the first step is to include our model that we create inside the app, that is form insertion model. Okay, so here to add the model, write use inside the app, and then directly the model name. Okay, so that is form insertion model. So as I include this model in my controller, now I can access this model through my controller. Okay, so to call that model, okay, so first step is to create an array, okay, that contains the table columns and that value, that is basically an associative array. Okay, and I will pass that array to that model. Okay, that built it as I use the Eloquent model. Okay, so in Laravel we can create our query in various ways, like to Eloquent or raw query and something more. So in this tutorial series, I just make it simple by using the Eloquent, as we have a built-in function through the Eloquent. Okay, so if I call this model through our controller, the first step is to write an array that contains all this code, all these variables. Okay, and then we pass that array to the Eloquent model built-in function, that is create, to insert the data, as this model contains the database name, and okay, through connection it contains the database name as well, and the table name form data table. So if I pass that array to this model built-in function, that is create, then we can insert the data directly. So it is very simple, don't worry if you not understand. So here the first step is to write an array. Okay, so I name it, for example, array, and that is associative array. So therefore inside the array tags, that is okay, and inside this one at first index the column name is name, email, phone and message. Okay, so the first, that is email, sorry, name. Inside the name I pass the name variable that contains the name data that user entered from the field. Okay, the second is email, and the email contains the email variables, okay, that comes from the form email field. And then the phone. Okay, so this name should be same as you created the column name. Okay, so this basically this define the column name, okay, in the database. So this should be matched to the name of your column, otherwise it gives you the error. Okay, so inside the phone comes from the phone variables, and the last one is message, and the message comes from this variable, that is message. Okay, so this array contains all these name, email, phone and message data. Okay, if I pass, okay, so the now the next step is to call the model. Okay, and the one Eloquent built-in function, that is create. Okay, so the first step is to call that model. So here our model name is form insertion model. Okay, so I call this model to the double colon and then the built-in function, that is create. Okay, and inside the create I pass that array. Okay, that is the Eloquent built-in function, and I return the result to a PHP variable, that is for example insert data. So we call our model that built-in function that create, that insert the data to that database table. Okay, and in this one the table is form data table, and it pass this array to that create function and return us inside the insertion data. Okay, so for insertion you need to write this line from this variable, call the save method. So then it will execute it and insert the data into database. So to know more about the Eloquent, I'll share the link in the video documentation. You can go through it to read more about the Eloquent built-in function and how you can use it. So let's test our code. So refresh the link. Inside the mail name, I write Nasir. Inside the email, for example, this is my email. Phone number is dummy, this one, and message is hi, how are you? Press on submit button. Let's check code executed successfully or not. Some error comes that class app form section not found. Okay, this error is because there is the name difference between the model name that we declared in a class and that we defined. Okay, so rename it with the form insertion model. After that, save the file, okay, as this model function is called. Save the file and refresh the link. So another error comes, that is database connection Nasir is not configured. So as I am building this project with the crack, so therefore just see how I can resolve these all errors and follow my steps. So to resolve this error you need to create the connection inside the app config and the database.php file. Okay, so here you can find there are all other database connection, that is MySQL. So copy these all connection and paste after that and name it of your DB connection, that is Nasir. Okay, so you need to define the DB connection inside the app config and database.php as well. After save the file, you will see that if I refresh the link, then another error comes, that is add name to to fillable property to allow mass assignment. Second, ORM, fillable attributes is an array containing all those fields of table which can be filled using mass assignment. So mass assignment refers to sending an array to the model to directly create a new record in database. So we need to add all our columns inside the fillable array in the Laravel model. So I add inside the protected fillable array the database columns. So our table columns name, sorry, that is first is name with comma separation, the second is email, and then the phone and the message as well. Adding these columns in the fillable array, save the file, okay, as these are the name of my columns, and refresh the link. Then you will see that another error comes for the updated add, created add and deleted add columns. So by default Laravel Eloquent model assume that whenever we entered a new row that it automatically add it time inside the created add, updated add and deleted add fields. Okay, so if we not to disable it, if we want to disable it, then we need to define a new timestamp, okay, variable that is a protected, and make it false. So therefore we tell the Laravel model, yeah, you don't need to create to define the created add, updated add and deleted add field inside the our table. So now it not assume that these columns are made inside the Laravel table. Okay, so if I make it true as the timestamp array with true, then there should be the accordings column inside the table. Okay, so therefore if I refresh the link, then you will see that this error is resolved and another error comes that timestamp must be public. Okay, so we need to define the timestamp variable with not protected but the public one. Okay, so after save, refresh the link, then you will see that this error will resolve, or error or is resolved now. And if I go to our table, then you will find here a record is inserted successfully. Okay, so what about if I make the timestamp variable true one? So then it assumed that there should be the three column accordings, that is created add, updated add and deleted add in the database table. Okay, so therefore I alter my table to add these three columns as I mentioned the timestamp with the true one. Okay, so I name the first is that is created at and its type is timestamp. Okay, similar for others. So its time date type is date time. Okay, updated at and its type is also date time, and then the deleted at. Okay, and it data type is also date time. Save. So as three new columns are created successfully in my table, now I make the timestamp with the true, and if I refresh the link with the same instance, then you will see that a new row will created in our database, or is now created with the delete created at updated at, okay, default values as it set automatically the date. Okay, so that is the purpose of the timestamp. So hope you will understand. Now we are moving toward to show the successful message to the user. So I move this code inside the if, that if the inserted data dot save, that means that if the data is inserted successfully, then inside this body of if we write to show the flash message code. So in Laravel 7, the flash message, we can include this one by all these steps. This link is also mentioned in the video description, so don't worry. So first you need to create a flash message.blade.php inside views. So inside the app, inside the resources, sorry, inside the views, here I create a new file and that name is flash message.blade.php, and inside this one I copy all this code. Okay, This code is mentioned in the video description link and paste here. The second step is to include this file into your main form code view. Okay, so if I go to my code and inside this one, that is my main blade, that insert view, in which the form data is showing, in this one at the top I include that flash message file. Okay, that is the view. The third step is to create a layouts folder inside the views, and inside the layout then we create the app.blade file. Okay, so inside the view, first I create a new directory and name it layouts, and inside that layouts I create a new PHP file, that is app.blade.php, and inside that file I paste all this code. Copy this one and paste inside that file. Okay, so we have already done. The next step is, okay, so the next step is where inside our if here we return some view. Okay, so we return back to the form page with the message, successful message. Basically we are inside this if, so if the record is successfully inserted, that show me the success message. The message is inside the second parameter some meaningful message, that is the form data inserted successfully. Okay, if I save the file, go to the browser, refresh the link and fill the name with some meaningful Nasir, email is this one, phone is some dummy data, and inside the message I write some meaningful message that hi, this is testing Laravel project for learning. Okay, something meaningful message. So if I press on the submit button after writing some meaningful message inside the message field, okay, if I press submit, then you will see that the form data inserted successfully message is showing at the top of the form. So if I go to the database and refresh the link after truncate the table, okay, here you will see that all these data is inserted successfully. So that's all. Hope after watching all these three videos of this tutorial series, you will able to understand the basic of Laravel workflow, how we create the controller, what is the purpose of MVC, how Laravel works in the MVC architecture, and how we create the models and we call that model some functions, that is built-in function Eloquent. Okay, so that's all for this tutorial series. So if you have any questions regarding to this topic, you can email me. Email is mentioned in video description, or you can comment inside the video comment section. Don't forget to subscribe my channel for more informative videos. Stay blessed. Have a good day.